Good morning. Today we are starting on the third paragraph. In the other videos I posted in the description a PDF to Svarya where you have the text with English translation where one can follow along. So we are in the third paragraph in Netzach Yisroel. We've been talking about how a Jew, a Yid for that matter, the world, in exile is not in their right place. So that's where we're continuing on that same note, that there's the natural events, there's the natural and there's the unnatural. And how something that is natural cannot become unnatural, because then it's not natural. So the morale continues. Also the Yidden themselves, if the Jews would be in exile forever. Also, if you have any questions on what I'm saying or any comments, you could put it in the comments below, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Golos is not the place where one is. The way things ought to be is that Yidden are in Eretz Yisrael in their own land, in their own sovereignty. The laborers are not in another domain. Like anything natural in nature has its own place. Like the Chachamim decreed that, like the Shemritz in the Torah, and like Pirkei Avos, there is nothing that does not have its place. Meaning that it's not only, you would think that would only be human beings that have their place where every person ought to be. But it's everything, which is on a different note, which is the whole idea of Hashgacha Pratis, which maybe we'll have a whole thing on that. The different levels of Hashgacha Pratis through the ages. The Chol Davar Hu B'Rshus Asma, each thing is in its own place. If things would be in their exile forever, then having that thing not in its natural habitat would turn into nature. What stands forever? Those things that are nature. The sun rises in the morning and it sets at night, and the same thing happens again and again and again. That's the idea, what's explained in Chakira, you have it also in Chassidus, the idea of there's those things that are kaimim be'ish and those things that are kaimim be'min. For like the moon, the sun, so those things are fixed. And then kaimim be'ish is people, is grass, is because nature, the way that Hashem made it, is that it's continuous. Like we said about the sun rising in the morning and setting at night, setting by sunset. It's the same thing day in, day out. And if the unnatural thing would also be always, almost like it's brought down that tainug, to me the Einei tainug, pleasure forever is not considered pleasure. once in a while a person has things that are unpleasurable. If it's always there and a person always has it, then there's no novel to it. When you can't say, "Oh, I have that pleasure thing." If a person is always in a pleasurable state, then he's not really. It's just one continuous thing, and it's not. There's no chiddush to it. There's no novelty to it. That now he's in a state of tainug, and before he wasn't in a state of tainug, because it's always like the idea that's brought down in Chassidus about, for example, by a king. How do you get a king excited? Is by you bringing him, like the Alter brings in Koditera, with we had last week or 2 weeks ago about Tzipar Hamadeberes, about the parrot, that the king laughs, and or he's so excited about it is because it's a new thing, because it's new, because it's a joke that you didn't hear always. You say the same joke again and again and again, then people just say first time was funny and now it's not funny anymore. Why? Because you hear the same thing again and again and again. It gets boring. It gets old. It needs to be new. So same thing here for this thing too. Something that is unnatural to be turned into nature is like what he's going to say now. Even though it being in that way is not the way that it was meant to be, is not the order and the nature of the way its existence was meant to be. Then the natural characteristic of it would be nullified. It wouldn't be of any purpose. For and this thing is not possible. Why? Based on what we said in the Chadav Shein Limakim, everything has its place. The natural things have their place, have their say, have their order of events, and the unnatural things have their time and place. Like it says in what's it called? Everything has davar everything has its place, and for this unnatural thing to become natural is totally not the way that Hashem put it. So going back to here, what the Maral will translate it into is the fact of the Yidden being out of Israel, being spread. What we're going to go into tomorrow is the Yidden being spread out. So if our natural habitat was to be in Eretz Yisrael, so then for us to be out of Eretz Yisrael is not the natural habitat. So therefore, being that we just said today that something unnatural it's impossible for something unnatural to always be to be turned into something natural, then the Yidden being in Golos forever is in something that is impossible, and therefore once they're in Golos, there is going to be an end to Golos. May that be. B'mheir b'meinu amen. See you all tomorrow.